Hey girl, hey, welcome back to my channel. And if you're new here, welcome. This is the channel where self-care meets soul care. And where every day is a different day, but we choose to make the most out of today. Listen, this month is dedicated to self-care on our channel, and I am just so excited that we are able to talk about self-care because it's so important to us as women and just as people in general. As you see, I have my Sabbath t-shirt on. If you're not familiar with Sabbath, it is a retreat that I am so privileged to host each year for women, where we're able to just really take care of ourselves, to be able to pour into ourselves, and really experience some good self-care and soul care. And so I wanted to hop on this video to really talk about how Sabbath was birthed, why we do the Sabbath retreat, and why it's important for us to implement Sabbath as like a practice that we need to do on a daily basis. So Sabbath was birthed back in 2021 when we were in the midst of the pandemic. And I remember in my prayer time with God and my Bible study time, he revealed to me that I really was just burnt out. At the time, everything was shut down, but church was not. Like, we were still doing ministry. And honestly, I believe we were busier. We had to stream everything. We had to figure everything out on a social platform. And me being kind of like my parents' PA, personal assistant, executive assistant, I did a lot. I wore a lot of hats. And so I was burnt out. I was very, very tired. And I was busy helping my husband at the time. He is a chiropractor, also pastor, but he's a chiropractor. And so during the pandemic, our staff just left. And so it was just me and him. And so here I am being office manager full-time and being the PA or executive administrator at our church full-time. And so juggling all that, and we had a infant that was about to be a toddler at the time. So it was just a lot going on. And so he told me, I need you to create a space for you, but also a space for other women who are like you, who are always busy, who are running on empty and who are running on burnout, and you're giving out actually things you don't even have to give. Like, you're running on empty, you're running on E, but you're continuously running because you really feel like you don't have the choice to just stop, to just pause. And so he said, I want you to study Sabbath. What does the Sabbath look like? And so I actually picked up a devotional Bible study series by Priscilla Schreier, and it was called Breathe. And in that Bible study, she breaks down what Sabbath is, why God made the Sabbath, rest, really, Sabbath is rest, so Sabbath equals rest. Why he created rest, why it's important for us to accept the gift of rest, because it truly is a gift. And she just really wrecked my whole life, in terms of how I look at, practicing the Sabbath. Because honestly, when you're in church, I think a lot of times you think that Sabbath is just that law, that commandment, observe the Sabbath. So I'm gonna go to church, right? I'm gonna go to church on the Sabbath, on Sunday, which is, for Christians, that's our Sabbath. But it's so much deeper than that, y'all. So when I got into that Bible study, I uncovered that really I need to really give myself permission to accept the gift of rest, to offer that gift to other women so that we can give ourselves permission to actually take some time to just be. Take some time to just pause, to be able to reflect, to be able to be refreshed, to be able to be renewed, to be able to be poured into. Because what I'm finding is a lot of women like myself who are high level executives, leaders, A-type personality, we are always on the go. We're always busy. And busyness becomes a burden to us because it starts to create unhealthy habits, like lack of sleep, unhealthy habits like no exercise, right? Unhealthy diet, because we're just constantly going. We're constantly going until either we have to stop. I've had a lot of, physical illnesses where I'm like, oh, I don't feel well. I have to stop. Or we get into this rhythm of mentally, we're drained. So now we're not mentally healthy. And so, I'm learning that as I'm continuously on this journey of practicing the Sabbath, of accepting the gift of rest, of understanding that God himself rested. He actually rested on day 7. And he actually showed us how to rest. That if God, the God of the universe who created everything, rested, why can't we? Right? Why is it so hard for us to do that? Like, why is it so hard for us to just say, you know what? I'm going to take this weekend to myself. I am going to turn this phone off. I am going to do whatever it is that pours into me, that fills my cup up. And I am not going to let the distractions of technology, the distractions of anything, tamper with my Sabbath experience. And so that's why it was birthed. That's why I'm so passionate about it, because my goal with Sabbath is really to allow women, the opportunity to get recharged. I feel like so many of my peers and so many of my colleagues, because we're always so busy, we're just not able to get recharged. We're not able to really get, get a reset, to be able to continue to do the things that we're tasked with. And so my goal is for us to always, provide these spaces at these retreats, these sacred spaces, to be able to have that sacred time to just pause, to just be yourself, to just not have to worry about all the hats that you're wearing, not have to worry about your demanding schedule at work, or, even your demanding schedule at home. If you are a wife or a mom, you might be a stay-at-home mom. So that's a lot, managing your children's schedules. You might be a stay-at-home mom and you're teaching your kids as well, you're homeschooling. So I just want Sabbath to be a sacred space for women to come to. And each year that we host it, it gets better and better. This is this is just literally, it's such a passion of mine, y'all. I'm sure you can see just by how I'm even looking in my face, but I just want women to understand how important it is to practice self-care, how important it is to practice soul care, to really dive into our word, to really be able to spend that time with God, spend that time in meditation, spend that time in prayer, and we oftentimes aren't able to really do that because we're just too busy, because we just prioritize all the demands of life before we prioritize ourselves. And so my goal is to continue to advocate for my sisters, advocate for women to be able to prioritize themselves in this season. God has been taking me on a journey as I kind of wrap up this video. This is a shorter one, y'all, but God has been taking me on a personal journey as I have been praying over Sabbath and the retreat that's coming up, on just reminding me that I am his daughter. Like, he has just been reminding me that, man, like, I'm not only the King of Kings and Lord of Lords in your life. Like, I am not only your Savior, I am your Father. And what does a father do? What does a good father do? A good father takes care of his daughter. A good father gives his daughter good gifts. A good father is there for his daughter. He's consistent. He's, dependent, or you can depend on him, and so he's been taking me throughout through the Bible and showing me these scriptures just about how good he is. And just that he is a good father, but he wants me to have the posture of being a daughter, being able to snuggle up under him, right? And just like lay on him when I need to and cry, to him, and just really just like cast my cares to him, because he truly cares for me as his daughter. And so that relationship and that posture for me is shifting. Like, I really can just rest in you. I really can just come to you with whatever it is that I need. And when I think about Sabbath and the gift that he gave us of rest, I'm just reminded about how good of a father he is. Like, he literally does not want us to take on the burdens of life. He wants us to cast those burdens to him. And so that is my goal, as we continue to plan for Sabbath retreat each year, as we continue to see what God will do with Sabbath as a ministry. I just pray that any woman that's connected to the Sabbath, the retreat, the ministry itself, that you really do feel that you are a daughter of the Most High King, that whenever you come to a Sabbath event or a retreat, that you are leaving lighter, that you are leaving feeling refreshed, renewed, recharged, ready to take on the rest of whatever it is that you have on your plate, because you have been able from that experience to be poured into. So if you haven't checked out Sabbath, I encourage you to do so. We are an amazing community of women who like to support each other. We're like-minded women with one goal in mind, to continue to practice self-care and soul care. Our tagline is where self-care meets soul care. So we want to advocate for that for each other and continue to support each other down this journey of self-care and soul care. So if you haven't registered, it is not too late. Register for Sabbath 2024. It is going to be amazing. No matter where you live, you can fly in. All the details are on ctabchurch.org. I pray that you join us. And if you can't, it's okay. We'll have it every year. So if you can't come this year, plan to come next year, because your soul needs it. Your self-care needs it. Well, until we meet again, I pray that this video was a blessing, that you learned a little bit more about Sabbath, what that actually is, why I decided to create the retreat, and my passion. I hope that you felt my passion for Sabbath, because it really, truly is something that I am so passionate about. I hope that you have an amazing week. And again, remember, make the most out of today. Until we meet again, I'll talk to you later. Bye.